What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, man. So Rashad Wallace was caught hating on Michael Jordan yet again. All right. I mean, look. I get having quirky opinions about stuff, but I'm sorry, man. Some of this stuff just doesn't make any sense to me that Rashad Wallace is saying. Right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's a pattern with it. Like, so recently he said that he believes that Scottie Pippen was the main defensive cog, the real defensive cog of those championship Chicago Bulls teams. So he said, quote, "We all knew Chicago like when most people think Chicago was Mike. But for us in the league, I know, at least for me, when I think Chicago, it's like for me, it's Pip. Because you look at Mike, like, okay, Mike is the offense for them, but Pip is the motherfucking defense. Pip is the one that was holding down. Now, make no mistake about it. Scottie Pippen was a premier defensive player. Premier. Like, in my opinion, he and John Havlicek are the top two defensive small forwards to ever play the game. During his NBA career, he averaged 2 steals and almost 1 block per game. And in his prime, those numbers were probably closer like 2.5 steals and a block, or over a block with Chicago. Like, I mean, he was a monster. Ball pressure, ball denial, man-on-man, help defender, perimeter defender, even spying on driving players, to the guys driving the basket, coming for blocks. Not just blocks from behind, but he comes up and blocks like he's a big man with those long arms. I mean, he was a beast. I know, I watched him. And I kind of even understand a little bit what Rasheed is saying here. See, you got to look at this from a more nuanced angle here. Like what I mean by that is, Rashad Wallace came to the NBA, what, 94? So Rasheed is talking about when he saw Mike. Now, he's talking about the second three-peat. Now, I think what he's trying to say is this. When you look at the Chicago Bulls in the second three-peat, essentially what they did was they put Michael Jordan on the block and told him go to work. That's pretty much what he did. You know what I'm saying? Backing down the post. Sometimes he ball faked a help defender. Make it look like he's going to pass. Turn around, square up, fade. Money. That's kind of what he did time and time again. Although he did score in other ways, like score in other ways, obviously. Mid-range, isolation situations in the perimeter, drives the basket, free ball, all of that stuff. But that became his bread and butter. So what Phil Jackson and the Bulls did do in the second three-peat oftentimes, the first 2 years especially, a lot of times they had Scottie guard the main offensive threat for the opposing team. Mike would sometimes guard the least dangerous perimeter player. So they would save him on offense because they were getting older. Now that also is partially why Scottie Pippen's offense was so off and on in the second three-peat. Part of it was he was getting older. Part of it was the game was slowing down. The driving lanes were sometimes non-existent or narrow. Scotty used to get a lot of his points driving to the basket when he was younger. So Scotty had to rely more on his three ball and jump shot, which was never as reliable or as efficient as Mike's. So because of that, and oftentimes playing defense wear you out, especially once you reach the upper side of 30, that took away from Scotty's game sometimes, offensively. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's some truth to that. But in the first three-peat, I wouldn't say that at all. I wouldn't say it at all. And we got to stop this crap with people trying to like take away Michael's contributions on both ends of the floor. You know, it's bad enough that if you talk to one LeBron fan, you know what I'm saying, they'll say, oh, all he did was dunk. You know, all he did was dunk. It's assassination. It's almost like I shouldn't say assassination, but it's a concerted effort to discredit Michael Jordan in any way, shape, or form. They'll, on the one hand, say, oh, offensively, all he did was drive and dunk, when they'll show you highlights from his rookie year, which is bullshit. Then they'll say, oh, his athleticism was overrated, you know. Then they'll show highlights from when he was a Wizard or last year with the Bulls. It's just all bullshit. Look, so I'm looking at the stats between Pippen and Mike from 89, 90 to 97, 98. This is the heart of their duo when they were both all-star caliber players. So this is 9 seasons. In these 9 seasons, right, one of the seasons, Mike wasn't playing. That was 93-94. So you got to remove that season from the equation. Okay? So there's 8 seasons left, right? Then 94-95, you really don't include that because that was just a 17-game period. Now you have 7 seasons, right? So in these 7 seasons, 2 of those seasons, the 92-93 season and the 95-96 season, Michael Jordan had a better defensive rating than Scottie Pippen. 2 other seasons, 90-91 and 91-92, they had the same defensive rating. So only in 4 of those 7 seasons, 3 of those 7 seasons, did Scottie have a higher defensive rating. And it wasn't by much. It was 105 to 106, 99 to 100, 101 to 102. Mike has 9 first-team all-defensive honors and a Defensive Player of the Year award. You make an argument from the late 80s and early 90s, Mike was the best two-way player in the NBA. And even when he came back from retirement, he was still one of the top 15 defenders in the NBA. And then in the year when Scottie took that break because he was warring with the Bulls front office because he wanted more money, so he had the surgery late, and Mike had to deal without him. So he was guarding the best players on the perimeter in that time period, the first half of the season. And the Bulls, without Scottie Pippen, because everybody say Mike couldn't do it without Scottie, he and Dennis Rodman led the Bulls with those bums, you know what I'm saying, on that team, led the Bulls to the best record in the Eastern Conference. The very difficult Eastern Conference, I might add. And don't forget the contributions of Dennis Rodman. And earlier, the contributions of Horace Grant, but especially Dennis Rodman. Look, what was I'm starting to suspect is, remember, Scottie Pippen, a couple of years ago, weirdly called Rashad Wallace the greatest power forward of all time, which was absolute cap. Then I've noticed since then that Rashad Wallace has been very, very praiseful of Scottie since then. You know what I'm saying? So I suspect some bias here. Okay, and this is really weird coming from Rashad Wallace, being that he's also a North Carolina alum, like Mike. And if Scotty is this defensive stalwart that he claims, where was all this against the Lakers in 2000 West Conference Finals? Where was this leadership? Where was this championship clutch play? And where was all this? It was nowhere to be found. We still saw remnants of Jordan's greatness in Washington. We didn't see any of that in Houston and not really in Portland. When Mike went to Washington, when he was almost 40, we still saw flashes of the greatness he showed and displayed in Chicago. Once Michael Jordan removed from the equation with Scottie Pippen, when he went to the Rockets, he sucked. You understand me? Sucked. He robbed the Rockets of millions. And the Bulls saw that, and that was the smartest thing the Bulls did. I'm sorry. That might sound like some hate from my part, but could you imagine if they gave Scottie Pippen the money that he thinks he deserved and he was playing like crap? Oh, and by the way, where was Scottie Pippen in that Jazz series? Because the last sequence of Michael Jordan's career as a Bull, I remember offense, a clutch defensive play with the weak side still on Karl Malone, and the clutchest goddamn shot in NBA Finals history. And that's all due respect to Kyrie Irving, but goddamn Michael Jordan saved the motherfucking day. Because if he hadn't made that shot, I think Utah blows the Bulls out in Game 7 because they were on fumes. That's why Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the goddamn, fuck it, I'll say it. You know, I think it's Wilt, but goddamn it, right now I'm thinking it's Mike. Fuck out of here, man. That's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.